The day was October 31st, the year 1942. What started off as a joyous, joyful occasion suddenly took a shocking turn for the worst. Was it a twisted turn of fate? Was it simply an accident? Or was it more nefarious? The answer might surprise us. This is Stone Secrets. This is the sad story of John Ferris David. Ferris was born here in Ingersoll in 1906, went to the usual schools, graduated from Ingersoll Collegiate. At the age of 22, though, he was elected as school trustee for the Ingersoll Board of Education. Turns out he was the youngest school trustee to be elected in Ontario at the age of 22. For the next 10 years, he was a member of the Board of Education and served as chairman of that Ingersoll board, while he was also engaged in numerous other fraternal organizations in the town. He worked as a newspaper editor for the Ingersoll Tribune and for the Ingersoll branch of the Woodstock Sentinel Review. So in his job as a newspaper reporter, he interviewed all kinds of different individuals, from lowly people to world famous evangelist Aimee Semple McPherson. In his public and private avocations, he was involved as a Mason, a member of King Hiram Lodge number 37. He was a member of the Harris chapter of the Royal Arch Masons. He was a member of Samaritan Lodge, the Independent Order of Oddfellows. He was also active with the local organization known as the Big Eight, which was a conglomeration of various service groups in Ingersoll that would pool their resources to do wonderful deeds for the people of town. In his service as school trustee, he was then appointed to the Ontario Education Association and actually served as president of that provincial body as well. So this took him to Toronto on numerous occasions to attend various conventions. 1940, he was married to Evelyn Curry. Together they had a young son, John Frederick David. And on in the October 31st date, they were attending a conference in Toronto, staying at the King Edward Hotel, which was one of the up-and-coming hotels at the time, considered one of the finest in the country. And they were there to celebrate both their second anniversary, as well as for Ferris to be able to attend this convention. Well, it seems that taking the stairs up to their room, whether he was carrying luggage or something else, it was up to the 6th floor and suddenly fell over the balcony railing, plummeting to his death in the lobby 6 stories below. The story was somewhat indeterminate, whether it was a tragic twist of fate, simple slip on the stairs, was it anything else? We don't really know for sure. The story received some press coverage both in Toronto and of course here in Ingersoll, where the newspaper man became the news, the sudden and tragic death of this individual. Coroner was called in to try and determine a cause. Unfortunately, we have not been able to track down the results of that coroner's inquest. Because of the timing of his death, it coincided with most of the newspapers reporting on the tragic events surrounding the Dieppe raid that had happened previous to this. Newspapers were beginning to publish the names of men who had been killed during that aborted efforts during the Second World War. So the newspaper, covered the tragic story of Ferris's death and his funeral, but then the rest of the story seems to remain hidden in the mists of time. So we're going to keep digging, and maybe someday we'll eventually find the full answers. His obituary reads and extols the wonderful virtues of this individual, described as one of the most public-minded individuals in town. His active involvement in all of these different organizations seems to reflect that. He had a large funeral service that went from his home on King Street East to Trinity United Church, and then here to the Ingersoll Rural Cemetery, where he was buried with Masonic order honors by the members of King Hiram Lodge. So his wife, or his widow, and son moved to Tillsonburg and spent the remainder of their days there. So the stone was erected by Ferris's mother, Margaret. He remained here alone for the next 3 years, and then she passed away in 1945. So perhaps a combination of grief as well as age. But it's one of the secrets, one of the mysteries that remain yet to be discovered and told here in the Ingersoll Rural Cemetery. This is Stone Secrets.